It makes you feel grown up to be alone in the city, particularly if you've come a long way in from the country, especially if you've got something important to do, like choosing a card for your mother's birthday, and a present, too. Peter had never had to make a decision like this by himself before. Choosing the card was easy, but the present, With so many things to choose from, it was difficult to decide. The blue bowl or what? The blue bowl was the best. 65 cents for the bowl, 15 cents for the card. He'd have just enough money for both. That is, if he hadn't lost any. Yes, he'd have that, please. The blue one there. And that. And now for home. Makes you feel proud and excited to be going home with a present you've chosen and bought yourself, along the familiar paths and over the fields to the river. You every inch of the way by heart, every tree, every fence. Even though Mother's birthday was still a full week away, just having the bowl in your arms made you want to hurry. Smashed to bits. What would he ever do for Mother's birthday now? Even the birds were sorry for Peter. That was a strange whistle. There are times when a girl isn't really so bad after all, particularly if she's sorry about the bowl, and especially if she says she knows where he can get another. She said her name was Anneke, and to follow her. So off they went, deep into the woods, along a path Peter had never been on before. Pretty soon they came to a house like the top of a hill. It had grass on the roof and a ladder. But that wasn't the only exciting thing. He'd certainly like to know what was going on in there. What was the man with the goggles doing? Meanwhile, let's see what else he could find. He'd feel foolish if he were caught, but maybe there was something interesting going on in there, too. What were those little animals? And why were they being dipped like that? Peter didn't know what to make of any of it, and Anneke, who might have explained, had disappeared. wonder what that thing is. Yeah, it looks like fun. When Anneke came back with her father, Peter was busy, and for a moment they couldn't find him. Mr. Deichmann, who was Anneke's father, explained it was a potter's wheel, and he was a potter. He would make another present for Peter's mother out of clay. Now, Peter thought that was very kind, but he couldn't see how Mr. Deichmann could make a bowl out of a lump of clay. But he did. It almost seemed to grow as a tree might grow, only very fast. Peter watched how the hands drew the clay up and shaped it into a jar, a tall and beautiful jar. But it wasn't a jar Peter wanted for his mother's birthday. So Mr. Deichmann began again. No, it wasn't a jug either that Peter wanted for his mother. It was something lower and flatter. With Anneke's help, he explained it had to be a bowl. Now that was exactly right. Peter was delighted. Then Anneke's mother and sister arrived to examine the bowl, and Anneke's brother. They told him the clay had to be left to dry and harden. Come back on Thursday, they said. Be sure to come back on Thursday. When Peter returned on Thursday morning, he found Anneke riding on the tractor with her brother. Together, they took the bowl to show to Mrs. Deichmann. Then Anneke had a suggestion. Why not ask her mother to paint a design on the bowl? Would she? She would and she could, for she was a potter too. She was the person who had made the animals Peter had seen through the window. Peter watched her work, her hands as steady as Mr. Deichmann's had been when he made the bowl on the wheel. Peter wished he could draw like that. It was a perfectly wonderful bowl, but didn't it need one more thing in that space at the top there? Now, thought Peter, the bowl is mine, but no. First, it had to be baked. Baked, said Peter. Yes, Mr. Deichmann explained, all pottery must be baked in a special kind of oven known as a kiln. The heat of the kiln changes the clay, and in changing it, hardens it. Mr. Deichmann and Anneke put the fragile pieces in very carefully. Peter couldn't understand why the kiln had no door. It seemed a lot of work to brick it up every time. At the other end of the kiln, a blowtorch was set up. Now Peter began to recognize what he had seen as he climbed down the ladder, and to understand why, with a fire like that, an ordinary door wouldn't be strong enough. It would take 6 hours to bake and 12 hours for the kiln to cool. Peter should come first thing in the morning to see the bricks coming down. Mr. Deichmann was as good as his word. Brick by brick, the oven was opened. Peter arrived on Friday morning. His bowl was cool enough to be taken out. Now it was really ready. No, not yet, Peter, Mr. Deichmann said. First, take it along to the glazing room. Peter was beginning to worry, for tomorrow was his mother's birthday. The glazing room looked like a kind of drugstore. In it, Mrs. Deichmann was mixing and stirring. She told him she was making a glaze from special kinds of ground-up rock. The glaze would give the clay a hard, smooth surface. As far as Peter could see, the glaze was only covering up the drawings. What was the use of drawing designs on the pottery if all you did was cover them up again? He liked the bowl as it was, but what could he do when Mrs. Deichmann was determined to dip it like the rest? Peter was very disappointed. No, don't touch it yet. It's wet, said Mrs. Deichmann. And it has to be baked again, Mr. Deichmann told him. But there's only 2 days, today and tomorrow. If it isn't ready tomorrow, Cheer up, Peter, it will be ready, but it has to go into the glaze kiln. The pots go into the glaze kiln through the top instead of the side. This kiln would get even hotter than the other one. It gets so hot, in fact, Mr. Deichmann said, that if a pot wasn't perfect, sometimes the heat made it crack. Peter didn't want a second broken bowl for his mother's birthday, and as he looked at it glowing in the oven, he wondered if it could stand such heat. Well, anyway, thought Peter, trying to cheer himself up, whatever happens, at least I have the card. What a day for a birthday. But the rain didn't stop Anneke and her father from being up early. And it didn't stop Peter. He was up early too, and hurrying to get his bowl. But even before Peter got there, the Deichmanns were busy taking the pottery out of the kiln. Peter began to worry as he ran. Would it be ready? What if it had cracked? Peter was sure the worst had happened. That's not your bowl, said Anneke. Look, yours is coming out next. Come and see. And there it was, finished at last, and perfect. Oh, it's beautiful, Peter said, and so smooth. The heat had changed the glaze to a soft gray blue, and the deer and the flowers looked as if they'd never been covered at all. Anneke was pleased, too, as pleased as Peter. Everyone had a last look before Mrs. Deichmann took the bowl away to be wrapped. Outside, the sky had cleared. Peter and Anneke examined the birthday card. It was a bit crumpled, but that wouldn't matter. Peter thanked the Deichmanns as nicely as he could and promised to come back soon. But right now, having the present in his arms made him want to hurry again. But this time, he'd remember that fallen tree. It makes you feel proud and excited to be going home with a present made especially for your mother, particularly when it's such a wonderful present and you can tell her all about how it was made.